I'd like to tell you the story of how I became paralyzed. It was June 16th, 2013. One night, I was out celebrating my last night as a server with some of my friends of mine. And then later that night, went home and I went and drank some more with my roommate, and then we started roughhousing, wrestling, and I tripped backwards and fell backwards into the edge of the table in the kitchen. Hit it just right to where it paralyzed me. At the time, I didn't know that I was paralyzed, neither did my roommate. So my roommate then drags me outside and tells me to come back in when I'm done being a baby, because I was just laying on the floor in the kitchen. So he thought I was just being a baby, but neither of us knew because we were both extremely drunk. I thought nothing of it. I was just like, okay, sounds good. So I laid there for 7 hours and I was calm the whole time, wasn't in any pain. I was wondering why I couldn't yell and why I couldn't kick the door to try and wake up my roommate to tell him to come get me. And at that point, I don't believe that I knew that I was paralyzed still. And so the back of my head started hurting because I was just laying flat on concrete, paralyzed from the chest down, so I didn't feel anything but my head. So I tried moving back a little bit to ease the pressure off the back of my head. So the rest of the night, I laid with my head hanging off the porch like that. Every now and then, I'd be able to do that to kind of take pressure off my neck and my head. But 7 hours later, my neighbor drives up and asks if I needed help. So I was like, yeah, I've been trying to flag people down the whole night. I was awake the whole time. Still calm, not freaking out, just like do, trying to blow flies off my face. So she wakes up my roommate. He comes out to get me and goes to pick me up because I told him to put me on the couch. He goes to pick me up, and my legs and my whole lower body from my chest down is just dangling like a puppet. And so I was like, yeah, that's not right. Maybe we should call 911. So we did. Ambulance came, picked me up, took me to the hospital, and brought me in for x-rays. And so, and me being me, I was flirting with every nurse that I could, even though it was like blurry. All I saw was blurs because my contacts were just stuck to my eyeballs and super dry. And so they went and took me in to do x-rays and brought me back in the room after they were done. And then the doctor comes in and he's like, so you broke your neck? I was like, no. He's like, wiggle your toes. I was like, oh. So he goes on to tell me that I crushed my C4, 5, and 6, making me making me a complete uh, a complete quadriplegic, a C6 complete quadriplegic. And so my parents come in a little bit after that, and I asked to call out of work because I had to work that day, that lunch shift. That was my last shift. But so I call into work. I'm like, hey, I can't make it into work today. They're like, why not? They're like, it's slammed. I was like, well, I'm at the hospital, and they said that I broke my neck. So I'm not going to be able to make it. They're like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. So I handed the phone to my doctor. He told him. He hands the phone back to me. I was like, told you. And I'm like, well, we hope you get to feeling better. And so doctor goes away, nurse comes back in with my parents. I'm over there trying to flirt with her, ask for her number and everything. My mom sees that and she's like, oh, he's gonna be alright, mentally at least. But so I stayed at Summit for a month, and that was in Tennessee, Hermitage, Tennessee. While I was at Summit, they tried to do physical therapy with me, and they told me to keep my hands shut because that'll help me be able to do more. Which I'm kind of glad they did and kind of glad they didn't. But now it's stuck in a fist, as you saw. And so I stayed at Summit for a month. Had a huge support group, my family and my friends coming to visit me. And you know who your true friends are when you go through something like this. But after a month of being there at Summit, we were trying to find me a good place to go to do better physical therapy. So by a miracle, a spot opened up at Shepherd Center in Atlanta, which was the best and like the top spinal cord injury recovery centers in America. So they drive me down there in an ambulance after being at Summit for a month, and my mom followed them down, got me all moved into my room, and from that day on, like the first day I got there, they did all sorts of tests on me. And the first day I got there, I wiggled my big toe on my right foot. I was like, yeah, I'm getting somewhere. And so slowly I started to recover little by little. Got my neck brace off, which, that thing was annoying. But I got to meet so many awesome people. Met one guy who was shot like 27 times. Made a friend with a former army guy. He got in a car wreck on his birthday, which that's a sucky present. But met a whole bunch of awesome people. And I had some of the best nurses and physical therapists. But at Shepherd Center, I also learned how to take care of myself, like basically starting all over. And so to make this short and sweet, I was there for 2 months, learned how to do everything. They taught my parents how to take care of me. And while I was at Summit, the doctor said that I'd be stuck in a chair for the rest of my life, that I'd never walk again, and that I wouldn't be able to take care of myself. So, after being at Shepherd Center, it was like opening my eyes. It was like, there's hope. And so after the first month of being home, I went from being motivated to just being couch potato. For the first month, I just went from my bed to my chair to the couch, back to my bed. Didn't want to do much of anything. I was a little down and depressed, but then I was like, I need to start working out. I need to get back into it. So I started training for a 5K. I was like, that's a goal I could do. So I did a 5K in my wheelchair. And then I did another 5K. Well, I'll get back to that one. But started physical therapy about November. And took a couple of steps while I was there. I was like, alright, like steps with a walker. And then one of my friends did a fundraiser for me. And he raised $5,000 so I could go down to Project Walk, which is another top-notch spinal cord recovery center. It was a little bit smaller. It wasn't a hospital. It was just like a little building. But my physical therapist there was an ex-drill instructor for the Marine Corps. So he showed me no mercy, which helped, because that's what I needed. I needed a good kick in the butt. But I was there. I did 5 days of 5 hours. I did 5-hour days of hardcore physical therapy. While I was there, I broke several records. They hooked up a bungee cord to me. I almost knocked down I almost tipped over an elliptical. And I went beast mode. It was great. And then went back home, trained for another 5K back in I think February of next year. And after that, trained for another 5K. This time, I was going to do it with my walker. This 5K was down in Atlanta. So it was for Project Walk. And so, did the 5K down in Atlanta, and I got about 3/4 of the way done with it all by myself, just walking. With my mom by my side the whole time. She walked with me. She did all the 5Ks with me. I can't thank my family enough, and my friends. But, so, get 3/4 of the way done with the 5K down in Atlanta, and I started to get pooped. My legs were jelly. So a cop pulls up, and he's like, hop on your walker, like, which my walker had a seat. So he pushed me almost the rest of the way. I was like, I want to finish it. Like, I want to walk across the finish line. So he lets me. And that was like something out of a story, out of a movie. But fast forward, get back home, and I keep on doing physical therapy. And I'm like, I think I'm ready to move out. My buddy offers to let me live with him. My best friend, should I say, my best friend, my best man. I was his best man. He was mine. And so lived with him for a little bit. Dated a couple girls. Almost moved in with one. That didn't work out. And then dated one of my high school crushes. And that dating turned into a relationship. And then that relationship turned to an engagement, which turned into marriage. And we were together for 4 years. And it didn't work out, unfortunately. But we had a beautiful daughter. Have a beautiful daughter. And she's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. But so the reason why I'm making this video is to hopefully inspire other people who are going through the same thing that I went through. There have been times where I was depressed. There were times when I wanted to give up. But God helped me keep going. My favorite verse that kept me going, that made me feel so much stronger, was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Whenever I was down, I just said that over and over again. I felt like I got stronger. And so I can't take all the credit for my recovery. I went to several healing services at church. Every time I did, the next week or the next day, next time that I went to physical therapy, I got so much stronger. It didn't make sense to the physical therapists. And I just recovered so much more. I improved so much more. But God is real. I mean, even if you don't think so, He's real to me. I had so many miracles. Somebody paid for my spot at Project Walk and for my 2-month stay at Shepherd Center, which would have been $250,000. So I didn't have insurance at the time. But miracles happen. They happen to me. I'm walking. I walk with a cane now. And I've got a daughter. I take care of myself. I'm 100% independent, even with these special hands. But my advice is, if you're going through tough times, don't give up. Tough times are like storms. Like if you're driving through a storm, it's dark, it's cloudy, it's raining, it's windy, it's scary sometimes. But if you keep driving slowly, sooner or later, you're going to get through that storm out, and you'll just break on through it. Just keep pushing. Keep driving on through. When life pushes you down, you get back up and push back. And this has been my story. I hope this helps.